Yeah, I mean, the show was okay for an outdoor show. Did you know that there was a water fountain between me and the audience? Yes, there was a literal fountain between us. It doesn't get worse than that. It's like, what happened? Do we run out of funeral gigs for me to do? Like that is, I don't know how you get a worse show than that. A Christmas special? No, I don't want to do a Christmas special. Because they're cheesy. They have cheesy titles. They're all the same. Oh, Little Town of Comedy. I heard the laughs on Christmas Day. No. Yeah, no, seriously. If that's where my career is at, man, no thank you. No thank you. You know what? Here's a title then, if I do one. Jump in the Christmas Shark Tank. Because that's what's happening to my career if I do one of those. Well, to be fair, you're my manager. So if there is a problem with my career, that's kind of on you, isn't it?
Please make welcome to the stage, Mr. Leland Klassen.
It's great to be home. I travel so much, so it's nice to be in my hometown in Abbotsford doing a show. I rarely get to work here, so I'm super excited. This is great. But Abbotsford, do me a favor. Since I've been home this past week, I noticed something. You gotta learn how to merge onto a highway. I would get after you about the roundabouts, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them myself. I get confused. Spend 3 hours just, I don't know, I'm in the inside lane. Do I have to stay here? Anyway, it's great to be here. City in the country is our motto, right? City in the country, which is the motto that answers the question, hey, why does it smell so bad here? City in the country. It's not all just Abbotsford jokes. It'll get better. Okay, everybody, just chill out. I'll also talk Christmas later, too, so don't worry. We'll be talking some Christmas. I was on a Christmas tour, and then I came back for these few shows, and then I back out on my Christmas tour, flying out of the Abbotsford airport. So, yeah, right? By applause, who's used the Abbotsford airport? By applause. Oh, so many of you. It's a beautiful airport. Don't you love how they try to make it feel like it's a bigger airport than it actually is? Have you noticed that? They're kind of like, okay, so you're going to be going out of gate 3. You mean the third door? Is that what you're talking about? Because we're just all going to walk out onto the tarmac, up those steps onto the plane. So you can call it a gate if you want. This is true story, absolutely true. You know how you get these gate change notifications? I got one from WestJet when I was sitting in the Abbotsford airport. And I'm serious. It was supposed to be gate 3, and all of a sudden, boom! Oh, what do we got here? Oh, gate 2. Oh, wait, so we're not here anymore. We're over here. I don't know. They ask you weird questions, I find, at that airport. It's just a different kind of airport. And the questions aren't weird. They just don't follow logical line of reasoning, I guess is what I would say about the questions. You get there with your bags, what's the first thing they ask you? Did you pack the bags yourself? Yes, I did. And then right after that, they ask you this, and it makes no sense. And are you aware of the content? I just told you that I packed it myself. No, I got no idea what's in there. I was packing in the dark in the ammo shed, so I don't know. What kind of shenanigans could be in there?
What? No. Where would I even do it anyway? Here? No. I'm not doing a Christmas special in Abbotsford. Well, because you need snow and ice for Christmas, not rain and mud. It's Frosty the Snowman, not Filthy the Mudman. You can't do a Christmas special where there's seasonal affective disorder. Think about the acronym for that. Yeah, SAD. You can't have Christmas and SAD. Christmas isn't sad. Wouldn't work.
Well, yeah, here's the thing for me, if I'm being honest. So I grew up in Saskatchewan, so I have a whole, like as a kid, Christmas is just so much different than it is out here. It just feels different. Like here's what I didn't even realize. So growing up in northern Saskatchewan, weeks of 40 below, that's just what you get, okay? I didn't know other places in Canada didn't actually plug in their vehicles in winter. Like, I didn't know that wasn't, I just assumed everybody did. I remember explaining it to somebody in southern Ontario, and I was like, have you never plugged in how do you start it? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, because you plug it in, and then it's basically a warmer around the engine block so that it's warm enough that the engine will turn over. And that's also where the farm cats will go and crawl in there and warm up. And then how many lives does this cat have? We had this one cat. He must have been like 14 times over the years. He just kept crawling in there, and he'd right where the fan was is where he'd lay across. Like it must have been a nice warm belt or something. Let me just Every year we had to. But this is the thing. It's a farm cat. He has no business being inside the house to begin with, and now he's injured. We just every year just bandage him up, and he just wander around the house. It put me off cats. I was like, Mama, I don't want the cat to sleep in my room. Don't you want to cuddle with the kitty? No. I have this vivid memory of my door halfway open and it's dark. I had a basement room, okay? And this cat comes around the corner, kind of half silhouette, and he's just like, I grabbed him, I took him outside, stuck him under the engine block. I was like, let's hope for lucky 15. Let's see what happens. Where's the keys? But yeah, we came out here. So 2001 is when me and my family moved out here. And even seeing, like, it's so different Christmas-wise. Like, I remember seeing Christmas lights and rain, and I was like, that seems dangerous. Why don't we unplug it till the snow comes or something? Because somebody's gonna get electrocuted. Yeah, because what I grew up in was like everything. We did everything outside. We was, playing hockey outside, snow forts, snowmen, just everything. We lived out there. In this one year, my dad he carved this amazing ice sculpture of this deer on our front lawn on the farm there. Like an amazing, like just so, I didn't even know he was like in action, this action pose. It was so amazing, it was so real. It was real. It was real. That's what it was. He hit it, and then it's frozen, so he just stuck it on the lawn as a joke. It was funny. My dad was funny. Put lights on the antlers. It's beautiful. Till spring thaw, and then it was. This is getting gross now. You know what I love the most about Abbotsford? I think it's just our proximity to the border here. Because I lived up in northern Saskatchewan, so we're never close to the border. Now we're right on the border. Cross over there all the time to get milk and gas. I saw somebody coming in earlier today. I don't know where that person is. This gal came running in with a 4-liter jug of milk. What are you guys going to be throwing at me tonight? Why? Who brought milk? Where are you? Where's the milk lady? She's running in with milk. It's like, it's the weirdest show I've ever done. Carrying milk. There's no joke. I just saw it. I'm just telling you what I saw. But have you noticed the border's changed, though? Have you noticed that? It's a different kind of border now. Remember it used to be Happy Fun Time when we used to go to the States? Remember when they used to want us there? Remember the good old days? Right? When we just show up and they'd be happy. Oh, Canadians, hey, come on into our country. We love our neighbors to the north. Get on in there. It's fantastic. We love you guys. Come on in here. And, is that fruit? Is that an apple? Put it down! Do you remember when fruit was the biggest security risk between our nations? And I was like, I don't care about the narcotics. Is that kiwi? Is that what you're bringing in? Give me this. What about this South Florida orange from Canada? There's a reason we gave it to you. Okay, buddy, you just keep it. Now they're mad all the time. Have you noticed that? Always mad. Tried to lighten it up last time I went through. The guy's like, so you're a comedian? I was like, yeah, that's right. So what are you going to be talking about? I was like, I don't know. Depends how well this goes. Don't say that. Do not. And don't do this either. It looks like a gun. What's going on? Why am I this way? So this is a true story. It's all true. This is just more true. But I was crossing the border, I don't know, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. I got to the border at Sumas Huntington, right here. Anyway, I got to the border, handed the guy my passport. He took it, he scanned it through the machine. First thing he said after he scanned it through the machine, don't make any sudden movements. Right? So I was like, okay. And then he's like, shut off your vehicle and give me the keys too. So I was like, okay. So I shut off the vehicle. I hand him the keys slowly, right? Because he said no sudden movements. You know, here come the keys. I don't know, I'm crouching down so much too. I take the front seat out of the car. I like to get a good quad workout while I'm driving. Right? Saves me hours of gym time. Just a couple more blocks. But then he said to me, in a couple moments, I'm gonna ask you to get out of the car. And when you do, if you make any sudden movements at all, we're gonna take you to the ground. That's what he said. And the reason he said a couple moments too, because he had time for his armed buddies to come out and surround the car. I'm not gonna make up the number for the story either, but by the time I got out, there were 6 of them surrounding the car. They didn't have their guns drawn, but their hands on their guns, on their hips and ready to shoot a Canadian mode. Waiting to bag me a Canuck all week. Here we go. He wasn't doing this. I don't know why I added that. That's a weird way to embellish the story. Should I shoot him or should I pirouette? What are we doing, you guys? So he opens the car door, I step out. Of course, now I'm towering over this guy, right? So now I'm scared he's gonna have like small man complex or something, Take the big guy down a peg or two. Everybody just calm down, just take it easy. I won't hurt you. Now, what did you want to say, buddy? He wasn't that small. I made that part up. I was too scared. I was actually kind of freaked out. I just went to the back of the car, actually shoved me down on the hood in the back. Like my face was squished in the hood in the back of the car, right? The hood's not on the back of the car. Right? I drive a Porsche, so comedy has been good to me. It's funnier than you realize. So they got me pinned down, they handcuffed me behind my back, they grabbed me with the armed guard, and they take me into the customs office like I was some kind of wanted fugitive or something, right? Now I'm starting to get a little freaked out, right? It doesn't seem like a routine stop anymore, right? Imagine the people behind me, right? Probably get a little freaked out themselves, right? See this car pull up, people jump out with guns, probably a little scared themselves, It's like, eat the fruit, Lois, eat the fruit! It was a banana. Last one was a banana. Because you need your potassium for jail. I said last night's show, some burly guy stood up in the back and he's like, that's true. It's from Chilliwack. I'm assuming, I don't know. That's terrible, you guys. Anyway, so they're taking me into the customs office. Again, absolutely true story. I was in there for like, I don't know, like maybe 5 seconds. Like not long at all, and some guard walks all nonchalantly from behind the counter, and he's like, oh, I guess it's just a computer malfunction, you can just let him go. And that was it. There's no explanation, no apology, no place to go change, nothing. But some of that fruit goes to you pretty fast, am I right? Take it back across to Canada where it belongs.
My hands? Why would I talk about my hands at Christmas? There's nothing to do with Christmas. What connection? There's literally no connection that can be made. Oh, gloves are really hard to find, so I usually just wait for Christmas gifts? I don't think so. My hands aren't even that big anyway. My arms are too small.
So are my hands too big for my body? Is that too much hand-to-body ratio, would you say? It's worse when I move them. Have you noticed that? I just show you my hands like, well, he's got big hands. Then I move them around. Oh, easy, we just ate. Huge hands. Well, here's the latest thing I discovered with my hands on the plane ride back home. When I cough, I cover other people's mouths. And that's not... Everybody's getting sick at that point. Huge hands. Every time I shake somebody's hand, I tickle their armpit. That's too much. How you doing? No, that's me. I apologize for sure. 2 weeks ago, I actually threw my back out waving. That doesn't seem normal. It was a vigorous wave, but still. It was tough growing up with hands this big. I didn't have the same fine motor skills that the kids had with their stubby little hands, you know. Couldn't do the things they could do, at least not as well as them, you know, so I didn't like other things we did in school. You know, so, okay, well, except for finger painting. I love finger painting. Here we go! I just finished 7 projects. And I'm out of paper. And paint, actually. I'm out of paint as well. You want to bring some over here? Yeah, no, I can help you. No problem. What's that? No, I have arms. I just don't need them. Still finger paint, by the way. I was doing some finger painting last weekend there. I painted the garage. Let that dry. I used to do hand signs for the deaf too. I used to do sign language for the deaf until they made me stop. Guess I was making the deaf people mad or something. Stomping, it's too loud. That doesn't look right either. Hey, look how small my head is in proportion. Did you notice that? Hey, here's a neat trick. I'm scratching my back right now. What do you think of that? I got a tiny little nugget of a head. I do. Well, here's the numbers so you get an idea. Glove size, 4XL. Hat size, youth medium. So that's embarrassing. Seriously, I bought my gloves at Big and Tall, and my hat's at Baby Gap. Like, this is not cool. This is a terrible selection. And here's the truth of it, okay? I tell real stories. Sometimes I add a little something at the end, a little comedic twist at the end. Comedy license, we call that. Make it a little funnier, okay? Real glove size, 4XL, absolutely true. But my real hat size is not actually youth medium. My real hat size is actually youth small. It's true, but I had to change it because people weren't laughing as much. I guess they're like, well, that's ridiculous. It can't be that small. So just think about that for a second. That means my head is actually so small that it's not even funny anymore. That's what that means. Here's how you know your head is too small for your hands. You shouldn't be able to touch both your ears with one hand at the same time. That's how you know. I love watching people try. That's like my favorite thing. Oh, I got halfway on my face. What's going on here? That means you're normal. There's a guy at a show a couple weeks ago. He's like, you can do it if you open your mouth. Why would you want to, right? I don't know. The latest thing that happened, I was playing the Xbox 360. My son there has the Kinect, so it has the controller, but your body also is the controller. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what game this would be. Dance like a Mennonite. Feels so wrong. Buddy, that means you're winning. Anyway, we were doing Nike Plus for Kinect. It's like a home workout that you do right with the Xbox 360, right with the Kinect. Okay. So here's the thing: they give you your own personal trainer. So if you're doing a workout video, you can kind of cheat on the video. Maybe not do the exercises well enough. Video doesn't know, right? But the personal trainer, he's like, hey, get your knees up higher, or whatever, right? In order for them to do that, they have to know what your body looks like. So you got to stand in front of the Kinect camera while it's mapping out your body. And I was watching it on the screen as it was mapping out my body, and it got up to my head, and I'm not making this up. There's this little red square around my head with this error message. You know what the error message said? Cannot detect head. Look at that. I turned around, my son was howling, right? He thought it was the funniest thing. He's literally bent over shaking, he's laughing so hard. I'm like, what are you laughing at? You look just like me, you freak. Pretty much laughing at yourself. That's what you're doing. I don't know, but I got a little bit of time, so I'll give you a tour of the rest of my body. I don't always do that. It's a Christmas treat. So here's the thing. I'm 6'3". The next thing people always ask me are what's shoe size? Because if I got big hands, do you have big feet? I'm 6'3", and so these are size 13. So that's around where it should be, right? Here's where it's a little bit off. Yeah, about half of that is toe. It's just, I've got finger toes is what I've got. In fact, I don't even have feet. I got 4 hands. That's what I got. Doing a handstand right now. Think about that. Another problem with my body, so my hip bone is actually right here, okay? So if I was to wear my pants where they're actually supposed to go, right about here, right about... Well, just below my abs, just below my abdominal muscles. It's a very small upper body, is what I'm trying to tell you. I got the smallest upper body in the entire world. I had my appendix out when I was 9. I thought it was because it was infected. Honestly, I think they're just making room for organs, right? Take whatever you can out. This kid's not living to 13 unless we do. He's a Saskatchewan doctor. That's why he's scooping. They asked me, so I remember going in for this surgery, and I was getting all kind of freaked out because I wasn't out yet. I was a 9-year-old kid, and they're like working with the they were probably messing with me, right? They're probably like, but it was freaking me out. And I remembered even, so a few years back, I had knee surgery, and the same thing, as I was getting wheeled in, I was like, man, I wish I was unconscious right now. When is this thing gonna kick in? But here's the thing. By the way, first of all, have you been in an operating room lately? Freezing cold. Like ice locker cold, like meat locker cold. Like I got worried. They were wheeling me in. I was like, hey, you guys know I'm alive, right? We're not harvesting my organs or something. What's going on? But the doctor asked me, is this weird? He was like, do you want to be unconscious or do you want to be completely out or just not feel it? And I was like, what? Who would want to be conscious? He's like, well, it's a control thing for some people. They just kind of want to be in control. And I'm like, what control would I have, right? Oh, this is Bush League. You guys are, no, do it. Here, throw my hand down there. I'll help you out. Just put it near the knee and I'll show you what I would do. I was like, no, I want to be out till the rehab is done. I want to wake up 6 months from now and be like, oh yeah, that's way better. Perfect. Okay, I really don't have time, but I'm gonna do this one yet. Wingspan, when you do your arms out like this. I didn't finish the, did I finish the, I got to my abs. Yeah, well, I did get my appendix out. That's absolutely true. I got the scar right here. In fact, they were so close, they just did the tonsils at the same time. They're like, let's just. Anyway, when you do your wingspan, when you put your arms out like this, that's supposed to be your height. Did you guys know this? It's roughly your height is what it's supposed to be. This is what it is for me. I'm gonna do it against here because that's what I've been doing every night. Seems to work. Fun fact about that joke, no words are necessary. You guys literally just laughed at my body. I don't know, I do make a lot of jokes about my hands though. I had a lady come to me after a show one time. She was offended I was doing jokes about the size of my hands. She was offended and she said, and I quote, "Sets a bad example for kids about making fun of themselves." What do you even say to that? You know, I was like, maybe comedy's not for you. It's my own fault though, because I married her. But we moved out here and it was just different for Christmas. But here's what happened. 2001, December 24th, Christmas Eve, snow started coming down. It was beautiful because it was like I was used to snow, and then I was like, I'm not gonna get snow for Christmas. And Christmas Eve, our first Christmas here, and there was snow coming down. Everybody was running outside. Like every neighbor we had was out there, you know, making snowmen and taking pictures, and everyone, like the whole block. I was like, take it easy, you guys. It'll be here tomorrow. And it wasn't. It was gone. I didn't know. The next year I was ready for it, right? The next year, it wasn't Christmas Eve, it was Christmas Day. And snow started coming down again. And I was like, I'm not gonna miss another opportunity, right? So I was yelling to the boys, get your coats, we're making a snowman. Honey, grab the camera, let's go. I'll do the bottom, you do the middle, you do the head. Let's go, it's already melting, let's hurry up. Let's go, where's the middle? Put the middle, doesn't matter how small the head is, it's a Klassen snowman, let's go. Take the picture, hurry up, it's melt, take the picture. Get it, take the picture, hurry up, take the picture. Yes, take the picture. Want to just Photoshop that in later or something?
I mean, I guess I could make some jokes about Christmas carols. What controversy? Oh, baby, it's cold outside, right? Well, think about all the Santa songs. Those are 10 times worse. Think about it, every single one, the creepiest lyrics. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows because he's hiding in the bushes by the lake. That's all I'm saying, it's very creepy.
I love Christmas, love it. Christmas carols, probably one of my favorite things about Christmas. Right, the same songs every year, the good ones. Right, there's some classics, but there's also some stinkers, let's be honest. There's a few Christmas carols that don't belong in the Christmas carol book, right? You know ones I'm talking about. 3 ships. Huh? I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. So? Ships come sailing in every day. Just because it happened on Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas song. I take a shower every day. It's not a Christmas carol. There's another one I don't like. Good King Wenceslas. I'll tell you why. Because there's like 492 verses and nothing to do with Christmas. Nothing. It's a good King Wenceslas went to town riding on a pony or whatever. Everybody stood around eating macaroni. Something like that. That could be verse 97. I've never gotten that far in the book. Here's another one I don't like, and I might get in trouble for this one because I know it could be your favorite. It could be your favorite here tonight, and I apologize if it is, but I don't like 12 Days of Christmas. Yes, yes, yes. Well, here's why. Because there's not 12 days of Christmas. There's one day. And what's it called again? Christmas. 12 days. Maybe it's the Mennonite in me, but who has money for that many gifts? That's excessive. That's why the gifts were so lame after a while. They just ran out of ideas, right? I don't know what to get. Why don't you run down to the turtle dove shop and get a couple French hens at It's 3 French hens, not 2. But it was at a turtle dove shop. So they already had a French hen. So now they had 3, and then while they were there, a couple of turtle doves followed them home. That's the story I created. Yesterday, okay, here's the thing. Yesterday was the first time I ever mentioned this, but everyone came up to me after, and they're like, oh, I've heard that record. You guys ever heard of Metro? Nobody's heard of Metro here? It was a big hit last night. So Metro is like this Ukrainian comedian, and my dad, for some reason, we're not Ukrainian or anything, but my dad had his Christmas album, and I never heard it. Except for Christmas, right around Christmas, my aunt, who was Ukrainian, would come over, and because she hated Metro, and as soon as she walked in the door, my dad would put that on. Kind of a Christmas tradition. Oh, Auntie Christine's here. Here we go. But he had a song, 11 Days from Christmas. You know, no one here? Last night, it was like, they were like, yeah, finally somebody's talking about Metro. And you guys are like, we don't know who that is. 11 days from Christmas. My missus gave for me. You guys didn't? This isn't, I don't remember any of the song anyway, so I can't really do it. I remembered the 5th one. That's the only thing I remember. 5 golden rings of Kubasa.
The problem is you need tragedy to make comedy. And all my memories of Christmas are awesome memories. So it wouldn't work. Yeah. No, everything, all good memories. I couldn't make comedy out of that. It's all good memories. Well, except until I got married. And then, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Don't tell her. Because that's not what I meant, that's why. You know what I meant.
Actually, so here's the thing. My wife and I, our first big fight was about Christmas. So we got married November 5th, 1994. And it was like the December 1st weekend, so barely a month later, and my wife was like, and keep in mind, I was not even married for a month yet, so there's certain things I didn't get, okay? I didn't understand some of the cues she was giving me, okay? Because she was like, yeah, you know, it'd be a great idea if we went out and got a Christmas tree and then brought it back in in December 1st every year and then decorated it, and it'll be our Christmas tradition. And I was like, huh. And then she was like, no, let's do it. Don't you think that'd be a good idea? We'll go get a tree and then we'll decorate it together. We should do that. Don't you think we should do that? And I was like, I don't know. And then she was like, no, Leland, we're going to go down and get a tree. We're going to bring it back and we're going to decorate it, and that's going to be our Christmas tradition. And I was like, no thanks. Yeah. I told you I didn't know some stuff. And then she started crying. She was so sad. She's like, I wanted to create some Christmas memories. And I'm like, we're doing that. They're not good ones, but it's memories. And look, it's 24 years later. We're still talking about it. Mission accomplished. I didn't know. There's stuff I just didn't know. I was too new to marriage, right? I was like, Matt, you're so emotional right now. You were like this last month. Is this gonna be a pattern? I didn't know some stuff. Some kind of cyclical occurrence here. What are we talking about? I got booed. I got some booze. Boo! I figured it out now.
For me though, snowy cold winters, that's what Christmas is all about. That's my best stories are when it's cold out. My dad's favorite story to tell about me, I was playing hockey by myself beside the house. I had a little rink, And he came down to see me. I'm sitting on the snowbank just staring at the ice. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm in the penalty box. I had a penalty. Everyone thinks that story is so funny. And to be honest with you, it's a little bit offensive to me because I take my pretend sports pretty seriously. I believe that was a Game 7 too. It's kind of a big deal. Anyway, that's why I took my kids back to Saskatchewan. I wanted to experience real Christmas.
We have our own traditions. Me and my own family, we got some traditions that we do for Christmas. Christmas movies, that's kind of our thing. Every year we watch the same Christmas movies, the classics. You know the ones I'm talking about? Die Hard. Die Hard 2. Batman Returns. Yeah, you got to clap for that. Wow, that's awesome. A couple years back, I wanted my kids to experience Christmas like I used to. I wanted them to experience winter like I did, so I flew them back to Saskatchewan for Christmas. Why do you gotta hate, man? Why you... Here's the thing that's kind of depressing, though, if I'm being honest. To fly a family of 4 back to Saskatchewan from here costs about the same to fly a family of 4 to Hawaii. So that's depressing. You're making that flight. You're like, this feels wrong. It just feels, it's getting colder, I think. I'm doing like I'm flying the plane. Here I go. Anyway, I flew them back, and this is the main thing I wanted my sons to do, because this was an amazing Christmas memory that I had, was making snow forts. And I'm not talking about piling stuff on top of things. I'm talking about, we used to get these massive drifts coming off the hills, okay? Massive snow drifts that they were massive. They went on forever. And so our snow forts were tunnel forts. You dig in tunnels, all these different places, and it was so much fun. And I so badly wanted my kids to experience this. So we went, and I'm like, you're gonna do it. I don't care how old you are. And they're like, okay, whatever. So, but here's what I realized about myself. When I got in that first tunnel, I started digging, and then I realized halfway through, I was like, oh, that's right. I'm claustrophobic. You know when I actually realized it? I was digging away, adrenaline was going, I'm digging, and all of a sudden it gets dark, and I turned around, and my son is crawling in behind me, right? I'm like, hey, back out, back out, back out! I need to see light, I need to see the light! It's tunnel safety rules, back out! I've been digging tunnels for 35 years, I know what I'm doing, back out of the tunnel. So I was digging one way, and my son was digging the other, and what happens is, you finally dig through, you can hear, and all of a sudden, we reach through and grab each other's hand. It's like one of the funnest things about doing tunnels, right? So I said, okay, back out. I'm gonna dig it all the way through. I'm gonna be the first one through our first tunnel. So he's like, okay, cool. He backed out. I dug it out, and then I went through. I didn't dig it out enough. Yeah, I got stuck halfway, and I'm panicking. I'm freaking out on the inside, right? But I don't want him to know, because he already thinks I'm an idiot, right? So I'm trying to play it all cool. I'm like, hey, it'd be really fun if you just grab my hand and just pull me out of here. It's funner if you do it faster. You just grab it and pull it out. Let's pull it out. It's gonna be fun. We got a lot of work to do, so let's just do it. We're gonna do it. We should do it. He pull me out. I can't breathe. I'm dying. Pull me out of here. He pulled me out. I was like, yeah. So don't worry about the yellow snow. That's. Probably some critters got in there. It happens. It happens. I don't know. My folks, here's the thing about my parents. So, old Mennonite brethren, parents, I'm not saying they're legalistic, but they love the rules. Kind of love following. They wouldn't even, what I'm trying to say is, everything was by the book. Everything, they wouldn't even round up on taxes, okay? Everything was by the book, except when it came to Christmas trees. I'm pretty sure we were just stealing. We never went to a lot. There was never a tree lot. There was a side road, and my dad pointing to the bush beside us and saying, go cut that tree down. And I kind of knew it was wrong, because he was always rushing me, right? Go get that tree. Oh, okay, hurry up. Somebody's coming, faster. Look, do you want Jesus to have a tree or not? Go. And here's the thing about my parents. About my upbringing, I never really understood. I didn't know if we were actually just really poor or just really, really cheap. I couldn't tell the difference. I'll give you an example. So, you know when you have Christmas party time and everybody's supposed to bring a treat and then you share treats? Okay, everyone brought nice things. And my mom baked these terrible cookies. They were like this kind of orangish, like manila envelope colored and tasting. Like there wasn't enough sugar. It's like, are we saving money on sugar? What is this? They were gross. And she was like, here you go, take these. And then this is how she sent them to me in school. She put them in a used bread bag. And then I stuck it in my backpack, and then it got all squished. Basically, by the time I got to school, it's like, who wants the Klassen cookie crumbs? Here you go. Merry Christmas. Here you go, Gail. But here's the thing this is why Christmas is always kind of extra cool for us. Even like birthdays and stuff, they're cheap. They just were like, no, nothing much. But Christmas, we'd always get one big gift. Like if we asked for a big gift, they were like, yeah, it's gonna come. So it was like super exciting. It's like, so this one year, now I got some cool things. I got my table hockey from that. I got new skates one year. I got a little Western wagon train thing, with little men. It was awesome. But the best year ever, this one year, I asked for this thing called the Armatron. And the Armatron was this robot. Oh, it's up. I can see you looking. Oh, look at that. Look at it in all its glory. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. See, so you had little toggles and that moved the arm. And you see the base? Well, it was just like a massive base. It had to be that big because that's where all the batteries went. And it went through power. Like it was like, are we out again? You just have to keep shoving batteries in there. Just like coal in an old train, right? Just keep going. So this is what I did. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, but okay, this is good. This is pretty good for a kid. I'm a creative kid, okay? So I don't just see a robotic arm. I see more than that. So this is what I did with it. This is gonna blow your mind. I put a sock puppet on that thing. You don't seem to understand what I just said. I put a sock puppet. I was ahead of my time. It's like a robotic, like it's an animatronic puppet show. Why are you not impressed? I don't understand. It was awesome though. It was like one of the best puppet shows. Well, actually it was pretty lame. It was just too slow, right? Hey Army, how are you? We're out of batteries. Hurry up, the story was just picking up. This is where it gets good. I don't know, I love Christmas though, love it. You know what I love the most, I think, about Christmas is the sense of hope that we have at Christmas. We talk about peace, we talk about joy. There's a sense of hope. We all feel it, we all talk about it, we all know like, yeah, there it is. It's something about Christmas. It is a hope. The problem is we just forget what we're putting our hope in. And the first Christmas, they also had hope, Israelites at the time. They were being oppressed by the Romans, right? There was but they had this prophecy. So their hope was in this prophecy of this coming king. The prophecy, and to them, it was a conquering king. He was coming in. He was just going to be like, he was going to take back the land, right? Everybody down, get down. He was like, all the Israelites into the chopper. It was going to be, maybe not 80s Arnie, but it was, that's what they thought they were getting. What they got was completely different, right? What they got was this helpless baby basically in a food trough in a barn. right? That's what it was. Away in a manger. Away in a, like it's some kind of it's a food trough in a barn. That's the real. Think about that. Not at all what they thought they were getting, right? But God knew, because God had a plan. God's always got a plan. Ask Drake. He's... What? Only about 25% of the people got that. Everybody else is like, I don't know. Is he a theologian? Who's Drake? Is it like Drake and Spurgeon? Who are we talking about here? Is he an Anabaptist? But God's always got a plan. See, he loved us. He created us to be in a relationship with him. That's the way we were made to be. That's the way we were created to be, was in this relationship with God. But from that first sin on, it was severed. From that first sin, from Adam on, Eve on. Hey, look it up. Look it up. Don't. He's clapping. Preach it. That's what Drake says. I have his book. No, but from that first sin on, that relationship was severed. The way we were intended to be, it was broken. That's why we live in death and decay, is because we're not the way we were intended to be. But God loved us so much that's the hope we have. That he gave us his son, Jesus. That's the hope we have at Christmas. And it's like, well, if he loved us so much, why didn't he just forgive us anyway? And this is the best part of the gospel. It's because God is holy and God is just. And because God is holy and just, he didn't change who he was. He didn't say, oh yeah, no, you guys messed up. Let me set the bar lower. He's just as holy and just as just. Because he loves us, he's like, yeah, no, there's no way that you can make amends for this because I'm holy, but I'll give you my son. That's the hope we have at Christmas. We got God. Jesus has come to heal that. That's what it is. It's a healing for all eternity. It's a spiritual healing. Everybody always talks about the miracles Jesus does, and we start talking about all the physical healings that he did. But even some of those are pointing to a different kind of healing that he's come to do. You look at Jesus was in the house. These guys with the paralyzed buddy can't get to him, so they go to the roof. They open the roof up and just drop down this paralyzed guy right in front of Jesus, right? He says to him, as soon as he comes down, Jesus says to him, your sins are forgiven. That's the first thing he said to him. Your sins are forgiven, because that's what he came to do. Of course, then the Pharisees, they go, who has the authority to say that? It's like that's my Pharisee impression. I'm a Pharisee, and I disagree with what you're doing. Sound a little bit like Kermit there, Pharisee. I'm sorry. But Jesus knows what they're thinking, right? So he's like, who's the authority to say, but what's easier to say? Your sins are forgiven, or grab your mat and get up and walk? But just so you know that I have the authority to do all things, grab your mat, get up and walk. That's when he healed them physically. But he came to heal us and our relationship with God. One more story, and it's my favorite from the New Testament. Jesus is on his way with a big crowd of people, everybody around him, and he's heading off. Somebody had asked him to come heal his daughter, so they're all heading off to go do this. Through the group, this lady comes through, reaches through. You know the story I'm talking about? Reaches through and just grabs the hem of his garment, the Bible says. Just touched the hem of his garment as he's walking by. Instantly, she'd been bleeding for 12 years of her life, tried a whole bunch of ways to different doctors. Nothing worked. She reaches the hem of his garment. Instantly, the bleeding stops. So it's done, right? He's already on a time crunch. He needs to keep moving. But he doesn't. He stops and he says, who did that? And here's why he did that. Because if a woman during that time had been bleeding for 12 years of her life, if you're bleeding, you'd be considered unclean. So this woman, essentially, if you're unclean, you can't hang with everyone. You're not in that, you have no community. You have zero community. So here she is, 12 years of her life, basically an outcast. So he's asking, who did that? And so she fesses up. She's like, okay, it was me. And then, this is the most beautiful thing. What did he say to her? He said, daughter, your faith has made you well. He called her daughter. That's what he's come to do. He's come to call us sons and daughters and to heal that relationship with God. That's the hope that we have at Christmas. That's all I want you to think about. Not all I want you to think about. It's the only thing. But this Christmas, as we go, we got a couple more weeks till Christmas. Just think about when we're thinking about that hope that we have at Christmas. Just remember what we're putting our hope in and what that means. You guys have been an amazing crowd. I had so much fun the last 3 days. I got one more to go, but tonight's been super fun too. So thank you so much for coming out.
Look, I'm just not going to do a Christmas special, okay? Well, let me put it to you this way. It'll take a Christmas miracle. It's just not going to happen.